Madam Speaker, I rise to give my contribution to the 2017-2018 budget presented by the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance on the 27th of July. Madam Speaker, when the Prime Minister presented the budget, he presented a plan, Madam Speaker, that continues to give direction to our development agenda in Dominica. Madam Speaker, this was a plan that will positively impact the life of every, and I dare repeat, Madam Speaker, every citizen of this country, directly or indirectly, including those on the opposition, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when I say that, I speak here of the continuation of all our social programs, Madam Speaker, because we did not yet, any of those were going to be discontinued. Further improvement and development to our housing sector. Continued rehabilitation, Madam Speaker, and improvement of our road network across the island. Further infrastructural development at constituency level through the Ministry of Constituency Empowerment. Provisional of additional sports facility. Greater support for entrepreneurship and small business development. Review of the facilities at the aid bank for our farmers. Improvement of our health facilities, Madam Speaker, and financing the management or treatment of persons with malignant conditions, ease of travel, Madam Speaker, from the USA, and importantly, for most workers in Dominica, the increased tax threshold as of January 2018. These are just a few areas, Madam Speaker, that I think will go across the board in ensuring that every citizen of this country benefits from this budget that was presented. Madam Speaker, at this point, I really wish to salute the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for his brilliance, his astuteness, wisdom, and leadership qualities, Madam Speaker, that have allowed us as government to navigate through turbulent waters, face all challenges, and achieve in great measure our goal of transforming the lives of our citizens. Madam Speaker, I want to reiterate, I said it last year, and I will continue to say, Madam Speaker, that leadership is everything. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister informed the House that the policies outlined in the budget was as a result of consultation with stakeholders and the wider communities through our many town halls meetings. So therefore, it is fair to conclude that this budget is one of inclusion. Madam Speaker, we cannot continue to copy and paste or regurgitate from articles of authors who do not even know Dominica or know very little about our country. Madam Speaker, a budget response must be practical, relevant, objective, and most importantly, instructive on the where, how, and when of a plan. Not offering pie in the sky or taking extracts from someone's article. Madam Speaker, having listened to the leader of the opposition,
Madam Speaker,
I can safely say...
Point of order. This member... You want to try 44 something again, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
I don't want to try anything. You will notice I'm quite accurate, and I would suggest you be the same.
And I just hope, Madam Speaker, when other members on the other side rise on points of order, you'll ask them specifically, like you have requested of me, the points of order they're standing on. 44-6. No members shall...
Just one moment. You will be respectful to the chair, okay? You don't seem to know about respect. But I think in this house, I will have to teach you. I'm not going to stand nonsense from you at all anymore. I've had enough. No kind of offside remarks will I tolerate.
What are you talking about?
Exactly that.
What are you talking about?
Exactly that. Exactly that. You rise on your point of order, it is my duty to ask you. Don't you tell me about I ask everybody the same question.
You don't.
That is your opinion, but then you know how your opinion stands.
But you
What,
don't,
what,
ma'am, and
what
know
are
you
you
don't.
saying?
You know you don't.
Continue, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in spite of
No
I will
manners,
continue
no
to
behavior, boy, let me tell you.
that having listened to the leader of the opposition, I can safely say, Madam Speaker, that in the absence of government's CBI program, there would not have been a response to the debate. On the other hand, we can say the amount of time spent on the CBI program is indicative of the importance or relevance of the program to Dominica. It is common knowledge that the leader of the opposition is very uncomfortable with the positive impact this program is having on this country under the leadership of Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, which will ultimately see his desire to become the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance remaining a fantasy. Madam Speaker, as the Minister responsible for youth, sports, culture, and constituency empowerment, I have to recognize the effort of the hard work of the staff of the ministry and specifically the heads of the various departments who are mandated to carry on the responsibilities or the duties of the ministry. Madam Speaker, some people are trying to play, Madam Speaker, on the minds of our vulnerable young people, giving them the impression that nothing has been done for our young people in Dominica. Madam Speaker, as the Minister responsible for youth, I would like to request the permission of the Minister of Education to allow me to touch briefly on education, which is in great measure youth-driven. Madam Speaker, our young people, and I really would like our young people to pay attention to it, and even the adults who can probably impart that information and help them to recognize those who are trying to inform them or tell them or mislead them into believing that nothing is happening to them. I do not think they have the interests of the young people at heart. Madam Speaker, I speak here of universal primary, secondary education. That is through the Ministry of Education, and I will indicate the ministry is responsible. Madam Speaker, I speak of the increased access to college and university. Never in the history of Dominica we had this amount of young people going to college and university. Madam Speaker, technical vocational skills through the schools and youth center across the island. Madam Speaker, I also want to make mention of the Dominica Youth Business Trust Program, the entrepreneurship program through the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Youth, all in collaboration with each other. Small business program in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, Agriculture, and Youth. The National Employment Program under the Ministry of Trade. National security through some of the justice reform programs and all of the other support programs that they share. The Ministry of Health, Madam Speaker, for all of the programs within the Ministry of Health that impacts and touch the lives of our young people. And Madam Speaker, these are just a few areas, but as I go down through the Ministry of Youth, I will expound a bit on some of them. But it would be interesting, Madam Speaker, to look through all of those ministries, and probably I may have missed out one or two ministries, and to put a figure to the cost or the amount of money spent on programs for our young people in Dominica, and then we would recognize the percentage of those budgets that are being spent on ensuring that our youth can receive the level of support that they require, to ensure that they can grow well academically, to ensure that we can develop their skills to the maximum, to ensure that we can provide them with opportunities for their own empowerment, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, under the Youth Development Division, this division continues to work through its many programs, and some of which I mentioned up there. The technical vocational skills, Madam Speaker, for example. Madam Speaker, in the year under review, which was last financial year, we had 293 young people being trained, Madam Speaker, in various modules, to include sewing, woodwork, fish pot making, hairstyling, pedicure, manicure, aesthetics, garment manufacturing. And Madam Speaker, if we are to look at those programs, we will understand that all of these things are very relevant and required in this present era. And Madam Speaker, those programs are not just developed because the officers decide that is what I want to do for the young people. They go out and do their research, and in consultation with the young people will indicate their areas of interest. And as a result, we develop and ensure that we can go through with some of those skills programs. Because, Madam Speaker, regardless too, we can provide opportunities for our children through education, but there will always be some of those, and even those who did very well academically, still have interest in skills. And for some of those who do not do too well academically, we still offer them an opportunity to develop their skills and become relevant and be able to engage themselves in something that can help develop them and their family, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, through those programs, we also offer sessions. The Department of the Youth Division offers sessions on character building, family life education with the support of the Ministry of Health, business awareness, office etiquette, and remedial skills. And we will understand the importance of all of those supportive subjects, Madam Speaker. Because it is all well and good to provide them with a skill, but Madam Speaker, it is very important that we pay attention to the holistic development of the young people. Providing them the education, yes, but Madam Speaker, they must be placed in a position where they can present themselves, they can speak, Madam Speaker, they can defend themselves, they can be objective, they can be critical in their thinking, Madam Speaker, and they know, they are well informed that they can make right choices in life, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we also, through that program, Madam Speaker, we were able to obtain 40% of the people who did those programs, Madam Speaker, were able to attain job placements, Madam Speaker. And that is, Madam Speaker, dealing with or addressing some of the unemployment issues, until such time that, Madam Speaker, they become competent and can move on their own. Madam Speaker, in the Eastern District, and my colleagues from that area will bear me out, we had the Ministry of Youth was able to conduct fish pot making and boat making module with the assistance of the Ministry of Agriculture and Commerce, and then these people will be, are very functional, are well functional in the Castlebrooks constituency, Madam Speaker, and the PAL rep will probably speak to that. Madam Speaker, we also hope to begin to allow or make space available for some young men who completed an auto body repair workshop in that very area. In 2017-2018, Madam Speaker, we will continue to explore all other areas based on the job market requirements to ensure that we can provide the young people with the necessary skills and information that they can avail themselves for those opportunities. Madam Speaker, youth entrepreneurship and employment through the Dominica Youth Business Trust. We are very much aware of an injections of funds of $1 million that the government made earlier this year to the Dominica Youth Business Trust to facilitate, Madam Speaker, lending to the young people who do not have collateral and find it very difficult to move ahead with their businesses. So, Madam Speaker, through the Dominica Youth Business Trust, we continue to provide that technical training, mentorship for most of the participants of the program, and provide loan guarantee facility of 100%, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, interestingly, it's important to note, Madam Speaker, that our delinquency rate among the young people is encouraging. The delinquency rate is only 10%, Madam Speaker. It means, therefore, the young people now recognize the importance of paying back so that there can be continuity of the program. They have now become very disciplined in ensuring that they can manage the funds based on the training that they require to ensure that they can pay back and not owe, Madam Speaker. And that, Madam Speaker, I am certain will give them a good credit report. Madam Speaker, through the mentorship program, the ministry recognizes the importance of the mentorship program, and as a result of that, conduct mentorship training, Madam Speaker, and we're able to certify some mentors who will hold the hands of the entrepreneurs and be able to guide them in their business, give them the level of technical support that they require to ensure that their businesses are sustainable. Madam Speaker, the National Youth Policy has been something that we've been speaking about for some time, and in last year's budget, Madam Speaker, we recognized there was an allocation to ensure the completion of this policy. Madam Speaker, we have gone through, and I can report to the Honourable House that this policy, the work on the policy, has been completed, the review has been completed, and to ensure to ensure the inclusion of all of the young people, numerous workshops and numerous meetings and consultations were held, and we had over 1,000 young people involved in all of the consultations, Madam Speaker, to ensure that they can identify with the content of the policy and it can be readily received by them, and they too can execute and carry on with the work within the policy. Madam Speaker, the policy articulated 8 strategic priority areas for action. And these priority areas, Madam Speaker, are areas that will look at the holistic development of the young people, all areas that are impacting the lives of the young people, negatively or positively, areas where they can be more involved or included in decision-making, Madam Speaker, their well-being, Madam Speaker, and everything, as I said, that will ensure that our young people, at the end of all of the programs that we will be implementing, or the support programs that will be, or all of the increase or improvement to our programs, that our young people, Madam Speaker, will be well placed, Madam Speaker, to fit in nicely into society. Madam Speaker, we also try to ensure and to encourage our young people, not just to receive, but to be able to give back to our country. And so we promote through the Department of Youth a volunteerism program where every summer, Madam Speaker, we get the students from the college and students from the high school to come out in the various communities to engage themselves in giving back to the community. And I want to congratulate the 220 young people who were engaged in 24 projects across 24 communities over the past year. And Madam Speaker, I want to say that the Kudme spirit in Dominica was on a low, and the government initiated a Kudme activity, which in itself will generate interest, Madam Speaker, and it has generated interest. And we must lead by example and let our young people see that all we do give back to the community, and that too can encourage them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, by those activities, the country, we save quite a bit of money in doing projects for the community that everybody can benefit from. Madam Speaker, the Youth Division is also aware of some of our young boys and girls who are falling through the cracks, Madam Speaker, and find themselves involved in deviant behavior. And so there is a program, the Youth at Risk program, where we try to establish or develop activities where they will be engaged in that will be able to bring them back into society, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we were able, as a result of that program, to get school dropouts into programs, Madam Speaker, and get them involved in positive community activities. As a result of that program, Madam Speaker, we have a modern and state-of-the-art multimedia center and recording studio, which is 90% complete, Madam Speaker, in the Marigot constituency. And that took place at the Marigot Youth Center, where our young people can now go out there, because we know our young people have that love for music and for rap and for all of those kinds of music, where they can go and do their own recording of videos and have those things played on, if it's the website or, whatever medium that are available to them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our young people, again, in agriculture. And we try to promote agriculture and the use of local produce through the 4-H clubs at the various schools, primary and secondary school. And the youth division goes out there and ensure that most of the schools have programs with the 4-H club. And we have 51 of those programs, of those 4-H clubs involved in agricultural projects, 51 out of 66 of them. And Madam Speaker, every year the 4-H clubites put on their dinner plate competition where they use the local produce, present it, Madam Speaker, in a way that is enticing, that will cause people to salivate and to be able to want to eat from our local foods, Madam Speaker. And as a result of that, we normally do a little competition and try to see who emerge winner. And the young people have done so well, Madam Speaker, that last year, I think it was the St. Mary's Academy who won. They represented Dominica, and this year again, the St. Mary's Academy won, and 2 other young men from the St. Mary's Academy will be representing Dominica in Barbados, Madam Speaker, showing up of our local dishes. Madam Speaker, youth unemployment has been something that a lot of people use to play on the minds of our young people. Youth unemployment. Madam Speaker, youth unemployment is, we should not be naive. Youth unemployment is of global concern. Madam Speaker, it is not peculiar to Dominica. Everywhere. If you go through global reports, you will see, Madam Speaker, the level of unemployment that is all over. But, Madam Speaker, one of the things, I mentioned quite a few of the areas where government initiate programs that will seek to address the unemployment issue. But one of those I want to make special mention of is the National Employment Program, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in 2016, youth unemployment, in 2016, Madam Speaker, through the National Employment Program, we were able to engage 68% of the people who are engaged were young people. 68% of those engaged were young people, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the statistical data on unemployment reveals that unemployment among the 15 to 34 age group was 32.1% before the National Employment Program started. That was 32.1. In 2016, it was 23%. So we saw a drop in the unemployment of the young people between the ages of 15 to 34. You were not listening. Now, Madam Speaker, the overall unemployment And there was an overall drop, Madam Speaker, in unemployment from 16 to 16.9% before the commencement of the National Employment Program, to 13.8 in 2015, and 12.1 in 2016. And we are in 16, Madam Speaker. And I'm certain I can, without a doubt, that in 2017, it is much lower, Madam Speaker. Because of the amount of people that have now been engaged, I can almost say that there is a drop in that level of unemployment, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, it is worth speaking about and worth noting, because the member of on the opposition will not mention it because they want our young people to think that they are worse off. But Madam Speaker, what is also very important, I heard the member for the Roseau South constituency making reference to underemployment and that the people are working at jobs that is not, the payment is not commensurate with the qualification. But Madam Speaker, I want to defy him on that one. Because Madam Speaker, when the students come back from the university, and that was against that backdrop, and some of the others were employed locally when the program started. And Madam Speaker, when the people came back from university, I do not want to speak, but I think the minister has already spoken, so I will expound a little where all the various areas were looked, people qualifications were looked at, the hours of work were looked at, the number of days that they would be working, their skills, whether they were skilled in the areas, and Madam Speaker, they were placed in positions where they would get a payment salary that was commensurate to their qualification, Madam Speaker. We did not take university graduates and put them in the community to do cleanup and beautification. We placed them in the public and private sector, in the banks and other institutions, in the ministries, hospital, all over, where we think it was a par with their qualification, Madam Speaker. So we must not come here and try to mislead people and think that we just place people into jobs and underpaying them. Because even those who are in the community, Madam Speaker, if they were to leave, for example, I can speak of Grand Bay. If they were to leave Grand Bay and get into Roseau to work, they would have to pay transportation, they would have to work with money to eat something while they're in Roseau, and some of them work in Roseau for less than they are getting in the constituency. No, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, having said that, Madam Speaker, I want to tell the member for Roseau South to will and come again, make sure he does his work to find out. Madam, he's listening, don't you worry, when they're there, they're listening. Madam Speaker, we also see unemployment, after the NEP program, Madam Speaker, we have the entrepreneurship program, and we heard in the Prime Minister's presentation of the budget an allocation that was going to go towards entrepreneurship to ensure that we can provide greater opportunities for those wanting to go into small businesses and into their own little businesses. But Madam Speaker, we must recognize that I always say it, and I will continue to say it, that no government across the globe can employ everybody. There will always be unemployment among us, always. But Madam Speaker, we must help our young people and those who are unemployed to identify areas where they can fit in, work with them to ensure that they can get themselves gainfully employed. And Madam Speaker, that is what we are doing through the entrepreneurship program, through the small business programs, and through the National Employment Program to a certain extent, Madam Speaker. So we really want them to ensure that they take advantage of the opportunities. Madam Speaker, having gone through all this morning I saw it, and I thought, if we really have to look at all of the programs that are impacting the lives of the young people, I really wonder who is to be blamed. Who is to be blamed for some of the deviant behavior that's going outside there? Some of the people who are unemployed, Madam Speaker, because some of them, the opportunities are there, but they don't take advantage of it, Madam Speaker. Are we, as parents, always taking up our responsibility seriously and encouraging our children in the right direction? Are we, instead of going out there and probably just on the roadside, encouraging and making and getting people a little upset and trying to see if we can get our people a little into deviant behavior and trying to antagonize them, Madam Speaker, into revolting in the country? Are we spending time with them, getting to know all of the programs that are available, Madam Speaker, and encouraging them to fit into those programs? Are we doing that, Madam Speaker? So if some of our young people do not take advantage of those things, many people who sit and criticize the work of the government should take blame for that, because they cannot say that they haven't been encouraging people to take advantage. Instead, they will sit and make them think that nothing is happening. And for those who are vulnerable, they might fall prey to a statement like that. But I really want them to sit back and look at all of the programs under all of the ministry and recognize that government in its own, government can provide you with everything, but you have to avail yourself to take advantage of those opportunities, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I will now move to sports development, and I will try to go a little faster because I really do not want to have to ask for any more time. Madam Speaker, but I sat and I listened again to the member of the Roseau South constituency. I will really point my finger at him, although I really am one person who think I don't have energy to spend and waste with the opposition because there is too much work for us to do. So I really don't have much time. But sometimes you have to refute some of the things that they are saying. Madam Speaker, he sat there and he's saying, he's looking at all of the sports facility across the country that he thinks is in poor condition. But Madam Speaker, he has not made mention of all of the new sports facility that this administration have constructed, and the improvement to many others, Madam Speaker. He has not made mention of any of that. We must, while he is talking about objectivity, he must not be biased in making those kind of statements. And I always say, Madam Speaker, that the government will provide you with the facility. And if you are a sportsman and woman and you are somebody who is interested in sports, Madam Speaker, while it is true that we are sending out, we have programs where we go out and assist with some of the fields, but Madam Speaker, people must take ownership of those facilities and do what they are supposed to do to ensure that it is maintained at the level at which they want it for use, Madam Speaker. Too often we have to, and people ask for playing fields, Madam Speaker. They ask for new field, they ask for lights on the playing field, improved basketball courts. Granted, I mean, everybody wants the best, and we will try our best to give it to them. But, Madam Speaker, people must take ownership of those facilities, and they must do what they have to do. And most importantly, they must use them, because they ask for it. And sometimes when they get it, some people make very good use of it, but some of them are just there, and people don't always even use them. But if they do not have it, you have some people making us believe that nothing is happening. But, Madam Speaker, if we have to speak of, I will probably just reiterate a few, highlight some of those areas in sports. The sports division, under the Ministry of Sports, Madam Speaker, we did work recently on in last budget, there was money appropriated for the improvement of the stadium, and we see, Madam Speaker, where we spent $600,000 on trying to re-roof part of the health center of the stadium. We also spent money on the stairways and on the railing, Madam Speaker, because some of them, you know, you have to ensure that they are properly maintained, because we have to ensure that we maintain that international standard to host our matches. And even for us locally, we want to ensure that the ambience in which we sit and look at those games is encouraging. Madam Speaker, last year's budget, we had monies for the installation of a scoreboard. And we spent $1.3 million to purchase a scoreboard, which was installed in preparation for the test match between the West Indies and Pakistan, Madam Speaker. And, Madam Speaker, while some people will sit and criticize, but during the test match, Madam Speaker, the chairman of the West Indies Cricket Board claimed that Dominica's scoreboard is the best in the region presently, Madam Speaker. The best in the region. So, Madam Speaker, this year we will continue to work and to maintain the stadium. And, Madam Speaker, we will be spending $1.1 million to improve the lighting because from time to time you may have, a little problems with the light. So we will be spending $1.1 million, a little above that, into improving the lights at the stadium, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our community people ask for lights on the playing fields, and Madam Speaker, Honourable St. Jean and Honourable Cassius and others can speak to the lighting on our playing fields to the tune of $749,000 and some more dollars, Madam Speaker, that was spent in the past financial year. And Madam Speaker, even if I speak to that, later on, I am sure Honourable Denise Charles spoke to the lighting on her facilities in Point Michel and Soufriere. And quite a few of my colleagues will do some of it under constituency empowerment as an area of priority, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, we have not just 5, but we have lighting of playing fields and basketball courts taking place in other parts of the country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the covering of the Massac basketball court, I am happy to inform the House that to date, Mr. Honourable Blackmore, that the components from Trinidad have been shipped, as far as we know. They should be, if not on island already, they should be on island very, very soon. And we are hoping that we can see the installation and the work being done the first quarter of this financial year. All of that to the tune of over $600,000, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we listen to the concerns of our athletes, and they've been requesting a synthetic track. While it is true, Madam Speaker, we do not have it in the supplement in the budget before us, but I can tell you work continues, and we are working feverishly to ensure that we can acquire the land from the Dominica Social Security. So we are committed to developing the synthetic track, 400-meter synthetic track for our athletes, Madam Speaker. And we will work very closely with the Athletic Association to ensure that that becomes a reality. Madam Speaker, the National Multipurpose Sports Complex has been in the air, and we've been speaking ad nauseum about it over the past few days, because we are now into action and not just words, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this facility will be able to accommodate basketball, volleyball, netball, tennis, and a swimming pool, Madam Speaker. Seating capacity we expect to be at 3,000 persons, Madam Speaker. And we know in the budget there is a $5 million that is allocated to go towards that project. Although we know it will cost in excess of $40 million EC dollars, but the Prime Minister will not talk about it unless he knows where the fund is coming from, as compared to others who just talk about things and do not know where money is coming from. So, Madam Speaker, we will see the Condi work being carried out. We know we have some money in the budget, Madam Speaker, for the demolition of the old netball complex that is at Stock Farm, and we are presently trying to work very closely with the people who are occupying the area to ensure that we can clear the area the soonest so that work can start. We signed a contract for with an architectural firm on the 9th of June, and I can say to the House on the 27th of July, this firm came to Dominica and made a presentation to the Cabinet, and on the 28th, they met with the other stakeholders to present the schematic designs so that people can give their final input before we get to the final stage. And Madam Speaker, I can say to you from reports that the meeting with the stakeholders went very well, and everybody seemed very, very excited and waiting patiently to see the commencement of the work. And I want to reassure them that as sometimes our members on the opposition side say that we say things and we do not, but I dare them to outline some of those things that we say we will be doing that we have not done. But I want to assure them that we are well on our way to bring into realization the development of that complex. The Maho playing field, Madam Speaker, we spent some money on the washrooms at the Maho playing field, and we also spent some money on the Constituency Empowerment, $106,000, Honourable Austri, in Lamothe. your well-popular playing field that you always remind me of. Improvement to the Savant Pie basketball court, we saw that. There is also, we will see work. In fact, for the Grand Bay basketball courting center, we have already received all of the necessary equipments to improve the surfacing. But, Madam Speaker, this is something that we really have to study the weather very closely to ensure that we can apply the proper surfacing material. And so, in the new financial year, as soon as the weather, in fact, it is there already, as soon as the weather can give us the little chance, we will see improvement to that area. And in the new financial year, we will see other amenities added to that area where people can now come and enjoy basketball matches just like my colleague in Pishney. So we will see improvement to that basketball area. As I said, $201,000, Honourable Charles, went to Point Michel for your basketball court, and your Soufriere basketball court, in excess of $98,000 went in those two areas. So, Madam Speaker, there is a lot of work going on those areas. The member for Roseau South again spoke of lighting at the Loubier playing field, but Madam Speaker, the monies, the Prime Minister did approve some money for that lighting. But Madam Speaker, the request came far before, long before, that the minister, the parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency saw that fitting. Madam Speaker, a request was made on behalf of the people of Loubier long before he asked for it, Madam Speaker. And so, Madam Speaker, we saw $29,000 approved for the lighting of the playing field in Loubier. So I am hoping all now, as we speak, work should be going on in those areas because that money was sent out to the various councils. Lighting of the Soufriere playing field, Madam Speaker, $61,000 was sent to the Soufriere Village Council for that area. Development of the Maho basketball court, $51,180 was presented to the Maho Jimmy Village Council, Madam Speaker, for that. The Bafong Point Sports Club, that is of Bagatelle, Madam Speaker, received $119,000 for the improvement of the Bagatelle court, Madam Speaker. So when we listen to the member of the Roseau Central constituency, I think the public needs to ask him to apologize. All the people who are benefiting from the areas in sports, Madam Speaker, need to ask him to apologize. Madam Speaker, the most I can say at this point is when we provide the people with the facility, I really want to encourage them to make use of those facilities because we understand the importance of sports in the development of our people, in ensuring that we have a healthy society, Madam Speaker. We also understand the implication for sports tourism and the economic activities that it can generate, Madam Speaker. And so, Madam Speaker, some of those facilities definitely will be developed just to achieve those objectives, Madam Speaker, and for greater socialization among our young people. Madam Speaker, in addition to all of those facilities, the Ministry of Sport will continue to engage in all of the activities, all of the programs that we do at the schools, and all of the activities that we do to encourage participation in sports activity. And we continue to spend money, Madam Speaker, because people, very often we hear people still continue to say that nothing is happening and nothing has been given to associations. Nobody knows how money is spent to send our young people out to participate in the various sporting activities. For example, the Sir Garfield Sobers School Cricket Festival in Barbados cost the government $67,000, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, to participate in the Windward Island School Games cost the government of Dominica $200,000. And this year, the schools were in Grenada, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, to participate in the Under-13 Netball Festival cost government $20,000. The Goodwill Series for the Under-13 Cricket in St. Lucia cost us $18,139.72. Participation in the 2016 Caribbean under 16 netball cost us $47,770.16, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, when we take our young people and we afford our young people the opportunity to go out there and to represent Dominica and to engage in regional sports, all of those things cost the country some money. But, Madam Speaker, we are happy to spend it on our young people to ensure that they can develop their potential. And, Madam Speaker, even at this point, I want to really commend, I guess, I'm not sure if his parents are listening, I want to commend Mr. Alec Athanas, who made it into the West Indies under 19 team from the Grand Bay constituency, Madam Speaker. And, Madam Speaker, all of these young men are products of the school sports program, Madam Speaker. Right. And that is where we identify their talent and try to help them to develop it, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we will continue. I will not run into all of those programs, but we will continue under the sports division to run all our programs and to ensure that wherever possible that we can improve. We have been able to achieve 100% coverage or engagement in some of the schools, but we really want to see if we can extend as far as humanly possible to make sure that we can succeed in generating more sporting activities at the school. And some of the achievements, Madam Speaker, we want to attribute it to the increase in staff as a result of the National Employment Program, where we engage some men who left school, Madam Speaker, with CXC, and we engage them and pay them commensurate to their qualification as sports officers, and they are out there assisting with the development of sports at the schools, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the area of culture, I will run quickly through it, Madam Speaker. We see our all-boys choir was introduced, and they are doing very, very well, Madam Speaker. We try to use the schools as much as possible to ensure that we can preserve our cultural heritage, get our students to be involved in traditional dance, in the ballet, in trying to play the drum, and all of those things, and we try to provide training programs for our people so that they can pass on that information and knowledge. Madam Speaker, we also try as much as possible in the Department of Culture to do documentary and to be able to save those things so that our people can learn from the traditional cultural habits, Madam Speaker. So we do quite a bit of documentaries on the Kalinago culture, on tying the head kase, you know, the various dances, as much as possible so that that can be passed on, Madam Speaker, and we can share with our regional counterparts, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I want to say that much is happening in those areas as it relates to culture, youth, and sports. We try to foster greater link with between the arts national reconstruction efforts of the economy. We try as much as possible to spend and to encourage people in participating in some of the activities. I must say too that this year, Madam Speaker, we spent in excess of $200,000 for Carnival, where we try to encourage persons to be involved in various Carnival activities, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, there is a lot to be done. The Dominica Institute for the Arts, they are working very, very feverishly with quite a few programs, and we want to encourage our young people to participate in some of those programs, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in this financial year, we will see the construction of the new stage at the old mill. We have already demolished the old one, and we will see work starting. In fact, we have already received the designs with all of the detailed costing, and we are almost ready for tendering in the beginning of the financial year. And we have seen fencing of the old mill. We'll continue the fencing project to provide greater security for the young people when they go down there and for the facility itself. The Arawak House of Culture, Madam Speaker, we will see improvement in that area because there is, we have close to $300,000 approved, Madam Speaker, for the development of a ramp so that we can make access for the physically challenged and elderly possible. There is also, we are going to improve the stage, Madam Speaker, and the side panels, Madam Speaker, to enhance the whole ambience, Madam Speaker, at the Arawak House of Culture. So looking forward, Madam Speaker, there is much that has to be done, but we will remain relentless, Madam Speaker, in all our efforts to ensure that we can look at all areas within the ministry to meet our goal of satisfying the people with whom we have to work very closely and ensure that they can benefit as much as possible. Madam Speaker, allow me to recognize at this point the Grand Bay constituency and to recognize my dear constituents who have been very supportive over the past, how many years? 7, 8 years, Madam Speaker. I really want to commend them for the level of support and the level of understanding that they continue to exhibit, not just for me, but for the Dominica Labour Party, Madam Speaker. I really want to thank them, Madam Speaker. Because, Madam Speaker, the Grand Bay constituents, and surprisingly, I want to share one little thing that one member of the opposition, we have a minority opposition club in Grand Bay, and one person from that club, he silently said, he wouldn't say it for me to hear, you know them people working, Madam Speaker, in Patois. He said he think we are doing a lot of work in the areas, but Madam Speaker, they will not say that for us to hear, you know, and in Grand Bay, he can speak to the work that is happening. And so if he can speak to it, I can well tell you how elated my people are with the level of development that's taking place in the constituency, Madam Speaker. Goodness. So, Madam Speaker, I want to say, Madam Speaker, that under Constituency Empowerment, we've been able to do quite a bit of work in the Grand Bay constituency. Madam Speaker, we saw in excess of $1 million being spent, Madam Speaker, for roads in the Grand Bay constituency. And as we speak, the Grand Bay Village Council now have in their coffers $500,000 for the development of the Morpo Road, Madam Speaker, the Morpo Feeder Road, Morpo Macanton Feeder Road. Madam Speaker, in terms of washrooms, we've spent close to $1 million and have satisfied the needs of 89 families in providing washrooms, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as late as June, the Grand Bay and Tetmon Council received in excess of $800,000 for construction of new homes, Madam Speaker, for some of our single parents, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, a lot is happening, Madam Speaker. There has been improvement, as I said, to the basketball courting center. We've had small business, Madam Speaker, where we spent 45 people benefited in a 45 people benefited with well over $100,000, and the Minister of Finance has given me the assurance, because what we did was to conduct training, because we recognize in small business sometimes we give, but we do not realize the results that we want. And so I held in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, we did workshops for the people in the area. And as a result of that, we now have new sets of requests which we have to scrutinize and we have to look at, and the Minister of Finance has given me the assurance that we will move ahead in the new financial year with making monies available to meet the needs of those people with the small businesses, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as we said, there was lighting to the Geneva playing field, and it's a pleasure to be down there in the night on the playing field. You can sit, you can relax, you can drink, you can laugh, you can play, to have fun on the playing field. It's a pleasure to be down on the playing field at night, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I held a National Employment Program meeting to sensitize the people in the constituency, more so the young people who felt they had interest in the area. And as a result of that, I can say to you, we have had in excess of 60 new persons engaged on the National Employment Program starting this financial year, Madam Speaker, both in the private and public sector, community, as well as outside of the community, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Tetmon and Grand Bay, one of the things that I found is that we have quite a few mothers, Madam Speaker, who are really challenged, unemployed, have to take care of their families, and so I, from time to time, have meetings with them and listen to them and ask them to make recommendations. What would they like, Madam Speaker, so that we can develop programs to meet their needs. And as a result of that, Madam Speaker, presently I can say to you we have about 13 young mothers in Tetmon area who are engaged in a sewing program, again in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, so that they can now prepare themselves for the enterprise that will soon open on the Geneva, on the enterprise that is at the Geneva Estate, Madam Speaker. So I am hoping that, and from all accounts, I visited them a few times, they are all very enthusiastic and taking the work very seriously. I think the instructor is impressed with the progress that they've been making, and so we will see them being able either to gain employment or in the enterprise, or be able to sit at home and begin to do their little uniforms, their little things, and begin to sell and earn some money, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in this financial year, we will see continuation of our roads, and we will see continuation of our washroom eradication program, the further improvement to our basketball court, I said that. We will see repair to the Grand Bay Fire Station, which has been out of commission for some time. We will see commencement of work on the Geneva playing field. $500,000 has been allocated, and the Prime Minister has given me the assurance that we move forward because we have a master plan for developing that area. Upgrade of the Grand Bay Community Center. We know the Dubic people, having moved from Dubic, now that we have wider people to deal with, the community center really needs some renovation. And because work was going to be done on one in Dubic, what has happened is we've worked closely with BNTF, and they've agreed, Madam Speaker, to transfer the funds and upgrade the Grand Bay Community Center. So as far as I was informed,
you have 5 minutes left.
I'll try to wrap up. I was informed that we are close to tendering, Madam Speaker, on those projects. So, Madam Speaker, I want to say that all of those projects that we are speaking about, Madam Speaker, we must translate them into, they can be translated, Madam Speaker, into employment in the various constituencies, monies to the families of those who are engaged, spending power for the people who are working, benefits to the shopkeepers, to other businesses, improvement of our socio-economic status of our residents, boosting the morale of the constituency, empowering them, Madam Speaker, for our bus drivers who from very often complain, although we are seeing improvement in all our roads, so I can almost say that their spending is less on wear and tear, Madam Speaker, so they will continue to benefit in all of those areas. So, Madam Speaker, I want to commend the Grand Bay constituency for all of what they've been doing and all the support that they've been giving. Under Constituency Empowerment, I want to commend the various councils and organizations who've been working diligently with us to execute quite a bit of work. We've had over $13 million spent on 115 roads, Madam Speaker. We've had toilet assistance. We've had over $1 million for 128 washrooms, Madam Speaker, under Constituency Empowerment. Small business, we've had 90 persons benefiting to the tune of almost $500,000, Madam Speaker. Housing assistance in excess of just about $3 million for 363 families, Madam Speaker. So quite a bit is being done through the Ministry of Constituency Empowerment, and I really want to commend my colleagues for the level of support that they continue to give in executing some of those projects, Madam Speaker. So in the ministry, Madam Speaker, we will continue to work, and we can go through the capital estimates, and we will see all of the other projects that we will be executing to ensure that we can improve sports in Dominica, we can empower our young people, Madam Speaker, we can promote and preserve our culture, we can bring empowerment in the constituency and transform the lives of our constituents. So, Madam Speaker, with that being said, I really want to say that I have no reservation in giving my full support to a budget that I think is people-oriented, well-thought, well put together, and will benefit the wider society. Thank you very much.